make a double effort this evening. Tommy K is on camera, myself Andy Hankin on comms, and it is a bit warm and humid outside, so if you are joining us for the next 30-35 minutes or so, then please make sure you've got a drink by you just in case you need a refreshment, and keep yourself hydrated, of course. So good news comes, and as lockdown starts to come out, hopefully we progress that way and we can get back to racing as soon as possible. Of course, the up and coming 12th of July will see us be behind doors meeting at Aldershot, and that will be available to watch on Speedwith TV. More to come from that, and more to come out as also Ipswich unveils a schedule this weekend, I believe it is, or I would just check the date. I think it's next weekend, it's the 4th of July, for a practice session. So the council and the authorities giving the go-ahead at Ipswich for some practice sessions. So it'd be good to see the guys out at Ipswich, and no doubt that will attract quite a fair few. There's been a few practice sessions at Kings Lynn, and of course one just gone by at Aldershot. Other tracks will, of course, in due course come along with some practice sessions, and it depends also on the ORC, the insurance and the promoters. In the meantime, we are still here with E-Series. I know one or two E-Series have come to the end of their sessions. Hopefully they will start again to give you some great viewing, and hopefully you'll continue to watch us here at Rebels Racing. So we're just waiting on the marshals to get the drivers all into the server correctly. We'll get them lined up for race number 1 of the evening, heat number 1. Just making sure my alarm on my phone doesn't go off as it normally does during comms at the moment, and I'll turn that off just in case, and also the volume on any other appliances around the household. So the graphics looking very good from Wimbledon. As I say, we're going for a semi-track side view. I'll put my teeth back in, that's better. And we did try a view from the bar, but I'm afraid the windows haven't been cleaned for quite some time. It was a bit murky, so we are going to stay with the on-track viewing and take you around the track with the cars. Hopefully keep you up to date with the action. We're using 1 or 2 in-car shots, and the cars coming from the infield area on this one, and not from the pits. Looking at the lap times so far, Dave Carter a good lap time on 15.805. So Dave going from the front of the pack will be one to watch when he can keep a nice tight line. Of course, there are the tyres. The tyres are in place as it is Wimbledon, and as in real life, 1 or 2 drivers may catch those tyres, and we've seen some dramatic crashes over the year caused by those tyres at Wimbledon. I think last time I was there was, well, last time but 2, I think it was, a stock rod launched off the tyres and ended up landed right way up, but sat on top of one of the fence posts. Hopefully we won't get that tonight, but if we do, it's only a game and all will be safe. Cars won't take too long to pull us straight on the IAB in the pits. Just press the X button and a new shell will appear. I myself will be back with action on Sunday with the stock rods. MA promotions 8 o'clock, 1300s and bangers during the course of the week. Back with the Rebels, of course, our regular Wednesday spot at 8 PM. Yeah. We have a speed weekend coming up for full contact racing. Details can be found on the Facebook page, and the alterations to the format will be posted. So if you check out on the full contact racing page on Facebook, that will take you into speed weekend and the full format in procedure for that weekend's racing. Of course, missing the real speed weekend this year will be a bit dramatic for a lot of us. I know Tommy Kay and family are usually in some kind of fancy dress, and he's crying like a big girl on the other end of the camera. I will slap him next time I see him, especially with wet fish. And yeah, it is a big event, and a lot of families go there. And you know, it's difficult to explain about Speed Weekend unless you've been. I've only been a couple of times and see the tents around the outside and the hospitality tents for people in there and partying all the way through the weekend, of course. So I believe we're waiting on one more driver to join the server, and we'll be underway very shortly. I'm not sure who it is. It may well be. We've not heard anything from Nicole Emmett, and she's usually a little tiny bit late. Of course, I need to put her makeup on before we race, and hopefully we'll get her dressed and ready and in a rebel very shortly, if it is Nicole. On board with Dave Carter in 548, and there is the view from the bar, as you can see. And the tinted glass not doing us any favours there. So Shane Murphy are currently topping out the points charts. I've been taking quite a few final wins in the series so far. A chase on from one or two others. I think Gary Tagg was up there. He's not with us this evening, which is unfortunate. And also Aaron Amstead, somewhere in the mid-range of the points, I believe. Well, currently at the moment, Shane Murphy working hard in the pits, trying to help a driver out to get the car onto the track. And hopefully we'll get that driver onto the track very shortly. Bear with us and enjoy the practice. Heat 1 will be up as soon as possible. Well, indeed, better late than never, and as expected, welcoming Nicole to Wimbledon Stadium in your Rebel Racer. So Nicole going from white grade. Got a good couple of starts last meeting, to be fair. And let's see how she fares around this oval at Wimbledon. I'm not sure whether, if I've not actually been on this track in the game, whether you come out through the tunnel or not when you come out to come on the track, or whether you start from the infield. So one version of Wimbledon, I'm being told, does for the bangers especially, comes out through the tunnel, and of course that is if you went to Wimbledon, you'll know the magic of the tunnel, of course. So we're now looking we're about ready for Heat 1. So Rob Jones just popping out for he should be back very shortly. So Rob coming back into the server, and the car's now out on track then for Heat 1. I'll just check with the steward to see how many laps we are going over for each heat. So it is a 12-lap race for heats. So this track in reality to the normal Rebels and for the 12-lap heat race. So 3 heats of 12, 14 laps for the final, back to 12 for the Grand National. And few camera changes there. Quick look around the track. So Dave Carter was in 548, Rob Jones in 30, Ash Geary in 82, Lawrence Collins in 501, James Go-Kart Brown in 900, Stephen Boyd joins us on track along with Shane Geary, Nicole Emmett, Shane Murphy, and away we go. Nice and steady. Going round to line up for the first race of the evening. In graded order, of course. The 2 Union Jack cars from the brothers Geary. Ash and Shane. There is Shane in 78, alongside James Go-Kart Brown in car 900. Shane Murphy starts from the rear in 81. And Nicole Emmett just lining up behind Stephen Boyd then in 369. We are on the roller. Lawrence Collins and Stephen Boyd. Stephen Boyd on the inside line. And there are those big tyres. If you catch one of those, you're going for a flying lesson or coming to a very, very steady stop. Down the back straight, poised ready. The green flag is down and away we go then. Heat 1 is underway here at Wimbledon for the Rebels. Stephen Boyd gets spun as he comes out of turn 4 there by Collins in 901. At 501 it's Collins that leads the way. There's the 2 Gearys as they go around Nicole Emmett, and she seems to be having a little bit of trouble at the back there. And on their tail, of course, Shane Murphy in 81, then Rob Jones in behind in car 30. And those 4 really battling it out towards the back of the field. The bumper going in on Murphy moves the Geary brothers aside. And that's not always a good move because he's always going to come back. Oh, Rob Jones, first casualty, hits the tyres. He spins Shane Geary out in consequences just by catching Ash on the inside. Ash survives. And Shane trying to pick back up there towards the back now in car 78. So Lawrence Collins leads away from Dave Carter in 548, James Go-Kart Brown in car 900, and Shane Murphy in 81. Back down to trackside then. There is Murphy in behind Go-Kart Brown, currently in 4th place position. So lap times just under 16 seconds a lap. As we come up to the halfway marker. Collins then from Carter, from Go-Kart Brown, and this race really disappearing into the distance. On board with Lawrence Collins down the straight there into the turn. Many of us have stood on those outside parts there or been in that bar. Certainly been in the bar, and some of the falling down water. And back further then with towards the back of the grid, just coming in behind the driver's head. So a quick look at the drivers. Lawrence Collins, your leader from Dave Carter, from Shane Murphy and James Go-Kart Brown. It looks like Rob Jones has slowed down for some reason in car 30. Not quite sure what's happening there, but Geary there in 82 just bouncing in and out the tyres. Here's Rob Jones picking back up speed. And in the game, you have to keep the revs up very much like you do with the normal Rebels. If you let them, oh, Stephen Boyd's gone for another spin all on his own this time on the back straight. Well, 2 laps to go then. A change at the front. And it's Dave Carter from Shane Murphy and Lawrence Collins as we go into the final lap of Heat 1. Dave Carter leads in 5.48. Nicole Emmett spins out in front of him, just catches the post and wide. Of course, the post and wide trouble for many a driver. Carter holds on lap 12. Can he take the full victory? Well, Murphy just in behind him in 81. Carter with the lead then in 5.48. About to clinch victory in Heat 1 for the Rebels. 1 lap to go. So he's 14, so I'm going to sack Tommy, who told me he was 12. So we're on 14 laps. Murphy looking for the lead, then leans on the inside of Carter. Carter shuts the door. Murphy goes down the inside. And Murphy just clinches the victory then as he comes through. And Dave Carter launches him into the corner. And Shane Murphy taking victory from Dave Carter, from Lawrence Collins, from James Go-Kart Brown. Ash Geary in 5th, Shane Geary in 6th, Rob Jones in 7th, Stephen Boyd in 8th, and 9th place goes to Nicole Emmett in 131. Next up, Heat 2 for the Rebel Racers, live from the E-Series here at Wimbledon.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
So a constant of quite a few of these drivers now, then 1 or 2 drivers needing to come back into the E-Series, but certainly constant 9 drivers out on track. Shane Murphy took the win in Heat 1. We're just going to line the cars up for Heat 2. Dave Carter in 5.48, of course, eager for victory. Looks like Nicole Emmett has an issue. She's on the grass at the moment. But, not always a great place to be on the grass, especially the Greyhound end at Wimbledon. So round to grade positions. We'll be down to a full rolling lap and then we'll go on the green. So in the black and white there, 369 Stephen Boyd. Just down to the white grade. Lawrence Collins down there in 501. Nicole Emmett in at 131. Well, she's into position and off the grass. She's going to go alongside Stephen Boyd by the looks of things. There's Lawrence Collins in 501 on the inside in the all blue with yellow trim. Sponsored by Jamie Davison. Right, so hope Stephen Boyd gets a better start this time. He did a spin round, and it looks like Lawrence Collins and Nicole Emmett trying to get an edge there as they go down the back straight. The cars close up. The green is down. Nicole Emmett on the inside of Collins then. Almost tags him out to the corner, but Collins holds on. Stephen Boyd, James Cart Brown in with a bumper on the rear of Boyd as they come through into second and third. Nicole Emmett bouncing off the wires there. Not a good place to bounce off wires at Wimbledon. On board with Lawrence Collins then in 501. Down the far side. Stephen Boyd in second, James Go-Kart Brown in third, Rob Jones in fourth. And Jones further back there ahead of fellow stars and superstars. Cole Emmett gets caught on the back end there by Shane Geary, who flies out wide as he tries to go through on the inside line. And it looks like a bit of oversteer there from Geary. And no doubt he'll be adjusting his MDF to get rid of that oversteer come the final. But Lawrence Collins leads from Go-Kart Brown from Boyd in third place position. Here comes Rob Jones on the inside of Boyd and Shane Murphy on the inside line in behind in 81. Murphy and Jones very close. The bumper goes in from Murphy. Jones goes out wide. Murphy slides through on the inside. You can just see from the inside the cab there the flashing superstar lights on the Murphy car. Different view there as we go down the far side, and Jones on the inside now, and these two really battling away for this place position. And that's allowing 1 or 2 to catch up there. Dave Carter in behind, looking for retribution. Oh, round goes sideways, goes Shea Murphy. Jones goes through, and Dave Carter goes through as well in 5.48. So well over halfway then. Lawrence Collins from James Go-Kart Brown and Rob Jones, that's your top 3. Good distance between them, to be fair. Cole Emmett, back marker there, just ahead of Go-Kart Brown. Dave Carter firing from the inside, in goes the bumper from Jones, out wide goes Carter, from the inside goes Jones. And Rob Jones really knowing just when to put the bumper in on this track. Murphy coming back at the pair though as they close in. 4 laps left of this one, and Murphy firing Jones across the path of Carter. Nicole Emmett just in the mix there, and Jones bouncing back across just in front of Murphy. We're on board with Shea Murphy again, in behind Jones and Carter. It sounds like a gun, doesn't it? Really like Smith and Weston, but these are rebel racers, and Jones gets fired out wide by Murphy. Murphy coming back into the picture, but lurking in behind them is Shane Geary. Now, 2 laps to go. Geary's looking for points. He's on the back end of Murphy, fires Murphy into Jones. What a shot. Goes through on the inside, but that's going to come back. Remember, guys, this is only on loan as we go 1 lap from home. Lawrence Collins, your leader. Murphy on the inside of Rob Jones. Geary gets caught on the fence post. The other Geary gets caught on the tyres. It's all over. Well, it is now. Lawrence Collins has took the win. James Go-Kart Brown in second. Dave Carter in third. Rob Jones in fourth. Shane Murphy in 5th, Stephen Boyd in 6th, and recovering Ash Geary in 7th, and Shane Geary in 8th, ahead of Nicole Emmett. And Rob Jones is doing lots and lots of donuts down there on the turn, lots of Krispy Kremes. So Heat 3 up next, and the last of the heats to decide the places for the grid on this evening's final. So we have had a request from the DJ, but we've told we can't play any music this evening. It was Amos the Postman for Shane Geary, having found 1 or 2 of the posts that actually grip the sides of the cars on this track. But I'm sure that payback will come. So Heat 3 up next. The drivers will load onto the track. We'll get them into their grid positions. Of course, it will be a rolling start. Now, remember, when we get to the final, that's a clutch start. And it will be a 2-3-2 format down the grid. And then a Grand National to go as well this evening here from Wimbledon. So this old Wimbledon Stadium, unfortunately gone for a football ground. So not good news, to be fair. Given COVID, the football ground's probably on hold. So the stadium featuring in quite a few TV series. Featured in the Sweeney. Also featured, I think, in Minder at one stage. We're quite popular amongst the TV series that went out based around the London circuits. So just the setup of the tracks being sorted. So we're having there's been quite a problem with the R-Factor series across the servers this week. And it looks like he's kicked us out of Wimbledon and sent us to Stoke. Yet another track that we've lost during the course of the last few years. But, our admin team just trying to get us back into Wimbledon, of course. So bear with us, Tommy K on the case. And we'll be back very shortly with Wimbledon. There we are. See, that's me mentioning the football club and the track disappearing all of a sudden. And one thing that nobody wanted to see. I guess things move on in life, and of course, one time a day there was anything up to around a dozen race venues around in and out of London. Walthamstow, White City, Haringey, and lots of them now. One or two still there, of course. Whether they could be reopened or not is another question.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
So looking like one car still in the pits in repair. Hopefully we'll get that driver back out for the final. So the drivers are going round to their grey places for the third heat of the evening. Hopefully we'll get done before we need to put this the floodlighting on and save on pennies. So rolling lap underway. Then the previous heat winner to the back of the white grades. Stephen Boyd struggling to get going on the roller. Nicole Emmett leads us away. Green flag about to drop, and away we go then. Heat 3 is on. Nicole Emmett leads us away on this one, and around she goes. One on another from Lawrence Collins to boot as Stephen Boyd drops on the inside. James Go-Kart Brown loads the pair into the first turn. and can't quite dispose of them. Collins slides from the inside. Dave Carter and the Gearys in tow. In they go, and that's Shane Geary with 3-car pushing to the turn. Ash Geary just said of Shane as they go into corners. In comes Shane Murphy and fires Geary out onto the turn. Geary trying to recover from there. And Lawrence Collins with the lead from Shane Murphy and Dave Carter in third. Collins a straight drive and has shown some great form in this series. Murphy though not far behind as we come up to just under halfway on this one. Dave Carter and Rob Jones giving good chase. And James Go-Kart Brown being fired out the way as Shane Geary comes through. Go-Kart Brown spins on the turn. Shane Geary now ahead of Rob Jones. Rob Jones goes on the inside. Stephen Boyd in between the two. In goes the Geary bumper on 369 and Shaky moves up a position. Oh, Dave Carter with the lead this time around then. Lawrence Collins dropping back into second. Shane Murphy in third. And very much a repeat of Heat 1 by the looks of things. Murphy going through on the inside and Nicole Emmett just on the tyres there forces them all out wide. Murphy comes on the inside of Dave Carter. Go-Kart Brown on the back of Murphy. A lap down there but still sticking the bumper in well. Murphy sitting back looking at Carter, looking for the right time to put the bumper in. In goes the bumper. Out wide goes Carter, but he pulls it back in. Carter holding a good tight line there. Murphy trying to dislodge him from that first place position as we're on board with Shane Murphy. Down the back straight this time. Carter just in front. In comes the bumper again from Murphy as they come up on back mark of Rob Jones, who's dropped to the back of the field. Dave Carter though in 548 on the inside. Gets the bumper in. Nice double tap there on Murphy. Murphy still out in front though as we come into the closing of this heat number 3. 3 laps to go. Nicole Emmett causes a chaos there and they both fire to the inside, but Dave Carter holds on in that second. Lawrence Collins on the bouncing off the Armco there, causing issues as he backs out across the path of the two Gearys. And it is between Dave Carter and Shane Murphy. 1 lap to go. On board with Dave Carter. In goes the bumper. Out wide goes Murphy. Now we remember this from the previous race with these two on Heat 1. Murphy in with the bumper again on Carter. Carter holding on the outside though. Holds the car on the line all the way down. And it's Dave Carter that takes victory from Shane Murphy. And Shane Murphy lunges on the corner there and loads into him on the turn. So Dave Carter takes the win from Shane Murphy from Shane Geary, who's battled all the way back up into third. Ash Geary in fourth, Lawrence Collins in fifth, Rob Jones in sixth, Stephen Boyd in seventh, Go-Kart Brown in eighth, Nicole Emmett in ninth. So the final up next, points accumulator tells me I think it will be Shane Murphy on pole position. And he should be joined by Dave Carter and possibly Lawrence Collins. So a little bit of trouble with Wimbledon. I think the builders are in knocking it down at the moment. The game just keep crashing a little bit there. We are going back in there. The Rebel pace car being loaded in by Tom. Cracking photo of that on the start of that. And I know who took that, by the way. He used to be a photographer one time a day. I think he's now a commentator. Whole series, that one I think was about 11 shots. The cars will line up in usual format for the final. Of course, a couple more laps added on for the distance on this one. So this should be a fiery one for the start, the final. And of course, in real terms, we have seen some great starts on finals in the Rebels. I think it was probably 2011 European weekend on the Saturday when they started, and I think 9 cars went on the first turn. So the cars just lining up in their positions. So Shane Murphy and Dave Carter on the front row. And by my estimations, it should be Lawrence Collins, Rob Jones, and one of the Gearys. With possibly James Brown and Nicole Emmett forming the last line. Let's wait for the pack to form. Close the grid, of course. So Lawrence Collins, James Go-Kart Brown then moving up that field. Nicole Emmett just trying to sneak in there. And fair play, girl. You go. She'll go around to the back of the pack. So Ash Geary on the outside. Shane Geary just in behind Lawrence Collins. And I think that's going to be one big hit all the way down into turn 1. Rev's just picking up on the little Reliant engine cars. Which using Formula 3, this engine, and very competitive back in those days. And there's certainly a lot of engine work on the cars do produce a great number of BHP. James Brown a bit eager in 900. We'll wait for the starter to drop the flag. Stephen Boyd just creeping in 369. Away we go though, the green's down and Geary going on the inside line of Collins. That doesn't make too much progress at the moment. There's a spin already. Looks like Lawrence Collins may have spun the early stages. Dave Carter leans on the inside of Shea Murphy. Now he knows he's got to dispose of Murphy in order to get gone. Carter leads from Murphy from Ash Geary in 82. Rob Jones not far behind in car 30. And Shane Geary, last week's final winner in 78. So early doors on this final then. Murphy trying to lean on the inside. Forces Carter out wide. In comes Ashgiri on the pair. Bumper, 3-car train into the turn. In goes the bumper from Geary. This time Ashgiri forcing them out wide. Nobody catching the post. And catching them up is Rob Jones and Shane Geary. Now this could get really interesting in the next couple of laps. Dave Carter leads from Ashgiri. He gets up on the side of Carter. Up the inside comes Murphy though. Jones in behind Murphy, trying to move Carter out the way. And it's a 3-way split for the lead at the moment as Ashgiri tries on the inside. He gets the bumper and fires out Shane Murphy out wide. Dave Carter dropped back in behind. 5 cars then fighting for the lead. What a cracking race so far. It is Ashgiri with the lead in 82 from Dave Carter. Geary goes sideways. That catches Shane Murphy. Through though goes Carter and Rob Jones. Jones takes the lead up. Oh, he's keen and eager for a second victory as he gets the bumper in. Is Shane Geary. Dave Carter's going to fire him out wide though. Geary holds on. Jones and the bumper up on the inside though comes Shane Murphy. Look at this race. This is a corker of a race here at Wimbledon. Goes the bumper from Murphy out. Oh, what a pile up in the turn. Geary on the post again. Carter goes in. Rob Jones up on the top. What more could you want from these rebel races here at Wimbledon? James Cocart Brown causes a problem there. He spins sideways and Shane Geary goes through a trip to the dog poo corner, shall we say, on the ground inside track. So Murphy leads from Dave Carter, from Ashgiri, from Shane Geary back up into 4th. Shane Murphy really getting the bumper in on the 3 amigos there and pushing them out the way, taking the lead. But Dave Carter trying to come back as we come into the closing stages then. Here comes Shane Geary lining up. Rob Jones in car 30. Ashgiri in 3rd, chasing away at Carter and Murphy. There's still a couple of laps to go on this one. Dave Carter on the inside of Stephen Boyd, a back marker there, and he is catching Murphy on the turn. Ashgiri could benefit from anything between these two now as he sits there in position number 3, just on the inside and the outside of Stephen Boyd. We're on board with Dave Carter then as we come into the close of this one. In goes the bumper on Murphy. Murphy gets caught on the post. Carter goes through. And Murphy out of the game then as Dave Carter takes the lead from Rob Jones. And Ashgiri in behind him in 82. Carter then leads the way. Ashgiri trying desperately to move Rob Jones out the way. In goes the bumper. Out wide goes Rob through the inside. Comes Geary then in 82. Lead with Dave Carter in a 5.48, looking for an Eaton final victory then. Ashgiri sitting there in 82 with Rob Jones in behind him in car 30. Shane Murphy trying desperately to come back up into 4th place. Half a lap behind the leader though, but it's Dave Carter set for victory here at Wimbledon. As we close it down on this evening's feature final, it will be Dave Carter that takes victory in 5.48 from Ashgiri. Oh, Shane Geary, sorry, Shane Geary coming in with a bumper. Where did he come? He did that last week in the final. He took victory, he got the bumper in there. And unfortunately, Ashgiri was a casualty of that. No brotherly love whatsoever. Up into 2nd. Shane Murphy in 3rd. Rob Jones in 4th. Lawrence Collins in 5th. Go-Kart Brown in 6th. Ashgiri in 7th. Nicole Emmett in 8th. And Stephen Boyd coming home in 9th. Well, just one more race to go here from the Rebels E Series at Wimbledon. That will be your feature Grand National. Lawrence Collins to start a lap handicap. I'll just quickly see if we've got a chance to get a word with any of our drivers this evening. Dave Carter possibly took victory in the final Anna heat, and I'll have a word with the steward and see if we can get him into the commentary box. So hopefully Dave Carter will join us for a chat after the Grand National. So this one a graded race, 14 laps your race distance. Dave Carter a lap handicap in 5.48. So you watch this then, Lawrence Collins, Cole Emmett and Stephen Boyd. We're on the rolling lap. Final race of the evening here from a Rebels E Series. It's been a cracking night's racing. Final was absolutely fantastic. Heat 3 was certainly one with lots of contact. Let's see if we can continue the entertainment then as we come round to go green. The green flag is down. Let's go racing then. Final race of the evening. Nicole Emmett off to a good start. Just loses the back end slightly out of the turn, and Lawrence Collins drops through. Dave Carter coming through then 5.48. In comes the bumper from all the Gearys there as they come through. And Rob Jones drops in behind. So Lawrence Collins leads from Nicole Emmett in 131 and Shay Murphy in 81. Shane Geary then certainly chasing after another victory in car 78, well up into good position in third, chasing after the rear of Shay Murphy in 81. Lawrence Collins, your current leader though, on board down the back straight, just in behind Stephen Boyd that time. And Lawrence Collins from Shay Murphy from Nicole Emmett in car 131. Shane Geary in fourth, Rob Jones in fifth. That's your current top five. Nicole going out wide to let the quicker cars through. Geary holding a nice inside tight line there in 78. Further back, Dave Carter trying to dispose of Rob Jones. In goes the bumper. Out wide goes Rob Jones then, and Nicole Emmett goes out wide and collects Rob Jones on the way through. Here comes Ash Geary though. Bumper in on Jones, takes Jones and Emmett out wide, but spins himself out in turn. Lead now with Shay Murphy from Lawrence Collins from Shane Geary. Lawrence Collins down there behind Shane Murphy there, looking to get the bumper in. On board with Lawrence Collins this time, right on the tail of Murphy as they come up behind back marker of Stephen Boyd. Murphy on the inside line, fires through and certainly powers into the lead. A Phillips Commercials sponsored livery car of Shay Murphy leads the way then from Lawrence Collins, and Shane Geary in third. On board with Shane Geary this time, in behind the back marker of Boyd, and then just in ahead of Geary is Lawrence Collins. Look at the size of those tyres compared to the cars. As we go 3 laps from home next time. Oh, what a lunge there from Stephen Boyd on Dave Carter. And puts him right in a spin down there on the turn. Geary now having a quick look at the back of Collins as we start to close down on this one then. James Go-Kart Brown's gone the wrong way around and Geary goes on the inside, forcing Lawrence Collins out wide. Lawrence Collins comes back on Geary. Doesn't quite connect there as they go into turn 3. Geary then just ahead of Collins. Murphy with the lead from Shane Geary in second. As we go one lap from home, it looks like a second victory of the night then for Shea Murphy underway in a car 81. All out there on his own as he comes down around the final turns and cooks it sideways. Oh dear, does that give Shane Geary enough chance to get there? No, he's just got it back in time. So Shane Murphy taking the win from Shane Geary, Lawrence Collins in third, Rob Jones in fourth, Dave Carter in fifth, Cole Emmett in sixth. That's Geary in seventh, Go-Kart Brown in eighth, and Stephen Boyd in ninth. And I think Geary's just been launched into the post down there. Well, one of the Gearys has on the close of the race. So great racing from all drivers here at Wimbledon this evening. It's been a fantastic meeting. The track looks in fine form. Of course, we're back next Wednesday at 8 PM. We're further round in the series. And possibly not looking like... we may well get to Dave Carter with us. Bear with us. He may well be with us for a chat very shortly. No, my apologies. He's gone back to his coach and loaded up. So we'll just see if we can get... we're just having a quick word with the Stu and see if we can get Dave with us.
What have I got to do? Just wait here.
Hello, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a good evening, wasn't it?
Good evening.
Plenty of bumper work there, and spinning Shea out the way and taking the final win. Certainly a cracking race.
I think that's the only way to do it against Shea. You can't overtake him, so you've just got to put him away.
What was the track like to race on from your point of view compared to the real thing?
I never actually raced at Wimbledon, to be honest, so I couldn't tell you, but I managed to get a bit of practice in this time, which I usually leave it last minute, so I managed to get a good setup. It was going well. Yeah,
I think Shane Geary popped up into second on the last lap as well. As a lot of bumper work going on. Heat 3 was a cracker. Eaton final win. How do you feel about repeating that next week then?
Well, I hope so. I think it was really good considering there wasn't many drivers, so it was good fun. A lot of bumper work, a lot of good racing. So we'll see what happens next week.
Well, thanks for chatting with us, Dave. We'll catch you next week on Rebels E Series. For myself, Handy Ankin, and all the admin team here. Tommy Kay on the camera, Shea Murphy in the admin side. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Good night.